Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our pals at the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School. Now, today's rundown is dedicated to Hockey 44D, who's been watching us for a long time, since the TV days, and now watches the rundown every day. Well, guess what? Hockey 44D, this one's all yours. If you're anxiously awaiting the Super Nintendo Classic, you can add another retro Nintendo console to your wish list. It looks like Nintendo is planning to make a tiny retro version of the N64. Users on NeoGAF have spotted trademarks filed by Nintendo with the European Union Intellectual Property Office, where the company trademarks a new version of the N64 controller alongside new trademarks for the NES and SNES controllers, which were filed for the release of the retro versions of those platforms. Since Nintendo is doing the same thing with the N64 controller, it indicates that they're planning to make a retro version of the N64 at some point in the near future as well, likely next year. Although my favorite Nintendo system is definitely the Super Nintendo, the N64 is arguably one of the best systems that Nintendo has ever made, with classic titles like Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, and Super Mario 64. Unfortunately, one of the best N64 games, GoldenEye, will likely have to be absent due to complicated rights issues surrounding the game. Even without it, a classic version of the N64 would obviously be a huge hit. The NES Classic was impossible to find when it launched last year, with supplies selling out as soon as they hit stores. Nintendo has vowed to increase their manufacturing output of the upcoming SNES Classic, which hits stores this September. The failure of the last Fantastic Four movie hasn't doomed the franchise. 20th Century Fox is making a new movie focusing on the villainous Dr. Doom, the main antagonist of the Fantastic Four series. The announcement was made during the Comic-Con panel for Fox's X-Men TV series Legion, where series creator Noah Hawley revealed that he's in the early stages of working on a Dr. Doom movie for the studio. Like X-Men, Fox owns the cinematic rights to the Fantastic Four franchise and all its associated characters, with Marvel and their parent company Disney having little to say in the movies that get made. No other details about the Dr. Doom movie were revealed, but it's safe to say that the new movie will be a clean reboot and ignore the previous Fantastic Four films. The 2015 movie was an unmitigated disaster, featuring a downright lame version of Dr. Doom, not to mention all the other characters, so the studio will hopefully stay as far away from that as possible. Focusing the new film on the villain instead of the main Fantastic Four ensemble could be their way of distancing themselves from the last movie, and the fact that they're trying again so soon with any Fantastic Four related project speaks to the franchise's potential. Fingers crossed that they get it right this time. Noah Hawley has had great success with Legion, which gives us hope for the new movie, and Fox has been on a good run with successful Marvel projects like Logan and Deadpool. Will Smith and Netflix have had a bright idea and are about to tell a new kind of fairy tale. Take a look at the first trailer for Bright, a new movie produced by Netflix and starring Will Smith. The film imagines what our world would look like if humans lived alongside fairy tale creatures like orcs and elves, with Smith playing an LAPD officer who's reluctantly partnered with an orc played by Joel Edgerton in heavy makeup.
Man, I'm not out here to be your friend. I need to know if shit pop off that you got my back.
They don't like each other at first, but soon learn to look past their differences and work together to solve a very sinister criminal conspiracy involving dark magic. The premise sounds a lot like the 80s movie Alien Nation, only with fairy tale creatures instead of aliens, and like that film, the concept seems like a thinly veiled allegory for racism and prejudice.
All of the races are different. Just because they're different doesn't mean anybody's better or worse than anybody.
The film is directed by David Ayer, who recently worked with Will Smith on Suicide Squad, and he's also directed good movies like End of Watch and Fury, so hopefully this one will be good as well. Bright will be available to stream on Netflix starting December 22nd. There are rumors that Netflix is trying to set up a theatrical run as well, although it's unclear if this will happen because theater chains have been notoriously reluctant to work with them in the past. This is easily the biggest Netflix movie yet, with huge star power and a budget of more than $90 million. If it's successful, you can expect to see more big movies like this from Netflix and other streaming services, so traditional movie theaters might soon be a thing of the past. And another big film and TV franchise is heading to the new universe of online distribution as well. MGM has announced Stargate Origins, a new spin-off series based on its popular science fiction franchise. The new show will be a prequel set before the events of the other Stargate shows, as well as the 1994 movie focusing on the first archaeologists to discover the ancient alien Stargate technology. The first season will consist of 10 episodes, with the first set to roll out this fall exclusively on MGM's new online streaming service called Stargate Command. The service will have a mix of paid and free content, and the studio plans to announce more about pricing and other details in the coming months. More and more big studios have started to embrace online streaming as audiences move away from traditional television. That's why you're watching EP here instead of on TV. The biggest franchise to do it so far is probably Star Trek, with CBS creating the new series Star Trek Discovery exclusively for their streaming service, CBS All Access. That beams down this fall.
To transport.
And if sci-fi aliens are what you're after, the DC Universe has got you covered. At Comic-Con, the Sci-Fi Channel unveiled the first teaser trailer for their new series Krypton, based on the Superman franchise. The show takes place on Superman's homeworld Krypton a few decades before he was born, with the story focusing on his grandfather as he fights to save his world from chaos. A lot of good that will do because, spoiler alert, Krypton was destroyed. The new show is produced by David S. Goyer, who co-wrote Man of Steel, so it's basically going to be a TV version of that film's opening sequence on Krypton. It will premiere next year. The most fearsome aliens in the universe might not be coming back to Earth anytime soon. 20th Century Fox is reportedly getting cold feet about the future of the Alien franchise following the poor reception of the latest entry, Alien Covenant. Director Ridley Scott has previously stated that he hopes to make 2 or 3 follow-ups to the film, but Fox may not be interested. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the studio is reassessing the planned sequels, so they may never see the light of day, or if they do, they could be very different than what Scott is planning. Alien Covenant, to put it bluntly, was terrible, so maybe it might be time for Ridley Scott to move on from the franchise. District 9 director Neil Blomkamp had been developing his own new Alien movie, which would have been closer in line with the more action-packed second film, Aliens, but that was scrapped in favor of Scott's sequels. Now that those films might be in jeopardy, we can't help but wonder if Fox will change their mind again and put the Blomkamp movie back in development. We'll just have to wait and see what bursts out. You don't have to fight drug dealers in Ghost Recon Wildlands. Pretty soon you'll be able to fight your friends, and hopefully none of them are drug dealers. Ubisoft has announced that PvP multiplayer is coming to their open-world game. It's called Ghost War, and we'll see 2 teams of 4 players battle each other in online death matches with huge maps based on the existing Wildlands environments and 6 different character classes from which to choose. Like the main game and all the other Tom Clancy franchises for that matter, stealth, tactics, and team coordination will play a big role, so you and your friends will have to make use of your unique skills and loadouts in order to succeed. The best part is that the new PvP mode will be free for all players. An open beta test is happening later this summer with a full rollout slated for the fall. The worst evildoers in history are rising from the dead just in time for the latest Call of Duty game. Activision and Sledgehammer Games have unveiled the Zombies campaign for their upcoming Call of Duty World War II. Like the zombie modes in previous Call of Duty games, this one will be its own story, separate from the main campaign, with players embarking on a new mission through a snowy Bavarian village infested by undead Nazis. This isn't the first time this has been done. Nazi zombies have appeared in previous Call of Duty titles, as well as many other game franchises, and there was even an entire subgenre of exploitation movies about Nazi zombies in the 1970s. Call of Duty World War II deploys November 3rd. Pricing for the DLC and Season Pass have yet to be revealed. That's it for the rundown today. If you want to learn more about game design, visit our friends at VFS.edu. We'll be back again with a brand new rundown for you on Monday. And in the meantime, click around, watch some of our other content, and if you like it, hit subscribe, all right?